Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals, the apocalypse, the clash of the gods. Let's call our audio audience here. The Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Welcome. The Clash of the Gods, the Great Apocalypse. 1 second here, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, we are effectively in the apocalypse. What is the apocalypse? This great epic battle like never before. It comes at the end of time. There's two great epic battles, but this is the worst one. There's one at the beginning of time and one at the end of time. And we'll talk a little bit about both. The Clash of the Gods is about status quo. The status quo, maintain the status quo. Now, the universe expands and contracts, expands and contracts. The KV, right, or the European scientists, that's what I call them, they talk about the Big Bang, boom, this big explosion, but they can't determine whether the universe will keep exploding till it goes out of existence or it's going to contract again. They don't know. They say, well, and they're not sure about the Big Bang. They say, well, they see the universe expanding, but they can't tell from what it expanded from. So they say it expanded from the size of an atom, right? And now it keeps expanding, and they don't know if it's going to continue expanding forever until it's out of existence. Hold on, brothers and sisters here. Until it's out of existence. See, they don't know. See? And like I said, they're guessing. And some say, well, it's going to contract again. They don't know. See, and the thing is, they can't explain the expansion to begin with because they say, well, if it blew up this atom, right? Then what initiated it? And so what ignited? What caused the atom to explode? And all this energy you see was all inside of an atom, according to them. But the Quran tells you that all that energy you see out there was once the atmosphere of the earth. It says, the beginning, earth and the heavens were one. So the energy you see out there was the atmosphere of the earth. So if you can believe that it was small as an atom, then you can surely believe that it was the size of the atmosphere of the earth. See? But the Quran says it was that, then we expand it. And it expands and contracts like a heartbeat forever. It's always done it, it always will do it, it will never stop. There was no beginning, there'll never be an end. It was just continued, it's like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, expand and contract, expand and contract, expand and contracts. So at the expansion, right, that was, we call that referred to as the beginning. See? And we call the contraction, that's the end of time. The end of, which means the end of the expansion and then the contraction states. And those two are two critical points in time. Two critical points in time. Now I've talked about the other one, the beginning. As I said, that the universe was beginning to expand. I mean, the universe was full contraction. Full contraction. See? And at that time, the earth was on fire. It was a big star, right? And I'm not going to go into all explanation of that, right? I've talked about that in previous presentations. Like I said, if I explain every point, we'll be here forever. And we were fire beings at that time. That's why in the Quran says, Bliss says, you made me a fire. See? Initially. So everything was, because all that pressure, was all that heat. See? That's why you got all the elements in the universe here in the earth. Because it takes a huge star to produce these heavy elements like uranium and things like that. See, our sun cannot produce that. Our sun can only produce helium, which is the simplest, is the second simplest atom. After the simplest one is proton or hydrogen, and the next simplest is 2 protons, which is helium, because it's a small star. See, but all the possible elements had to be a superstar, the biggest star ever, and that's what our universe started out as. And then we expanded it, as the Quran tells you. So it's super hot, all that pressure. See? But there was millions of us, billions of us. And at that time we had all that energy was out there. We had here, so we was magnificent beings, we was powerful beings, full, you can't imagine, ferocious, energetic, super beings. All that energy. See? We was the most powerful ever. And then the God, right? The God, right? He's the most powerful of the beings. He's the wisest being. He's a centroid. See, he has 360 degrees. But everybody else has like a degree or 10 degrees or whatever. But he has all 360. And he decided he wanted to span the universe. See, nothing happens. We are the universe. We are the mind. We are the mind of the universe. We cause things to happen. See, like I said, the universe, heaven and earth was one. Then we rented. It didn't just expand by itself. The God caused it. But the angels, most of the angels didn't want it. They didn't want, because they realized if they expand, they would start losing their energy, because energy was going to be transferred from here out there, and eventually they would be like we are right now. See, low energy deprivation. See, it would take trillions of years to get there, but they knew that they would lose control because they had total control, and they was the most magnificent they could ever be at that time. Powerful beings. See, nothing could stop them. See. And then the God said, well, I'm going to expand. I'm going to expand the universe. And they resisted. And they was at the center of earth at that time. See? And the God, he built a fortress around them. See? Because when he made the decision to expand, he knew they was going to reject it. He was going to go against it because they was going to lose power. So they wanted to maintain the status quo because that's the most powerful state that they could ever be at that time right there. And the expansion means they would begin to lose power. But God said, no, I want to expand the universe. I want to expand it. See? So eventually, they came against, they came against him. They tried to penetrate his fortress and stop him from expanding the universe. And at that time, you see, the atmosphere, right, was gases. Hydrogen, helium, so forth, oxygen, so forth. Strata, See, there was no water. Just fire. Oxygen is fire. You don't think oxygen is fire? Okay, you have fire, you take all oxygen out of the room, the fire dies. Why? Because it's fueled off, because oxygen is fire. So I'm not going to go into details about that, but anyway. So the God was experimenting with the gases. And he combined hydrogen and oxygen together and produce water. See? And when all these angels, there was nothing wrong. They was perfect beings, perfect. Only thing is, they went against what the God wanted. They were God. Some refer to them as the gods, some refer to them as angels. And anyway, they was lesser than the supreme being. See? And they tried to stop him. They tried to penetrate his force, try to stop him, right? He was experimenting with this. So what he did is he took the atmosphere and he combined oxygen and hydrogen together, produced water. That's how the oceans came about. Enough to cause the oceans to come about, and that destroyed all those rebellious angels. Destroyed them all instantly. Boom, just like that. Because they was all made of fire. They'd never seen water before. There wasn't any water. That's where the water first, that's the beginning of water. There's the oceans. Wiped them all out. See? And then the universe started expanding. We have something similar going to that right now. The status quo. Because now you have the clash of the gods on this side. And the gods who are in power wants to stay in power. They want to keep things like they are. They don't want the universe to keep it. They want the universe to stay as it is. I mean, they can't stop the universe from contracting. But they can keep time from... See, because time, like I would try to explain to you, time is the transforming energy from one form to another. They don't want to transform energy to another form. They want to keep it to this form. So the universe may expand, but they want to keep time like it is. They don't want to change. They want to keep things like it is. They don't want to change energy from another form to another. Other than the fable for them. So they want to keep control of time. I keep explaining to you, time is the process of control, turning energy from one form to the other. And we do that. The universe doesn't do it by itself. We do that. And so right now they have control of that process. And they don't want the process to change, because if it changes, because now you got another God on the scene, says, no, right? I want to change it. You see, because that's what the first God said. He said, I'm going to change it. I don't want to stay like it is. I don't want to status quo. I want to change it. I want to expand. I want to change. I want to bring in a new reality. And now you got the God on the scene, Master Prophet Muhammad, along with his high priest. They said, we want to change reality. We don't keep things like they are. We don't want to keep things like they are. See? And all the gods, or lesser gods, right? That's Satan and all his angels. They said, no, we want to keep things like they are. Right? And so the God has to build himself a fortress to protect himself. Because the other God, he had to protect himself. He had to protect himself from the water. Because he'd be drowned. He'd be destroyed by the water too. So he made a fortress. So when he did this, the water would not penetrate that fortress. And so he would survive it when all outside the fortress was drowning in that water. They never knew water. Water destroyed them. So hold on for a second. I'm going to give you an example here. See, show you the similarities. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now see here. This is at the point, right, where the resurrection is taking place. All the blacks is coming together, the demons and the saints, right? And then the saints, and then the separation comes. That's the harvest. And then we get rid of the demons. We cast them out. See? But down here, you see the seer and the rain, that's the Shia. And this rain here, I'm not going to explain who that is right now. As I said, I got to keep that on the low because that's a big surprise for KV in a minute. But see here, here's the river and the sea. See the river and the sea. I don't know if you can see that. See, river and the sea. I know you audio people, audience can't see this, but we include the link, right, afterwards, so you can go back and look at the audio version, the video version. Here's the river and the sea. See, and this is referred to as earth down here. You understand angel key? Angel key. This represents the earth. The European countries represents the earth. Okay? So, and I'm going to say this right here. Up here you see what it says. Even the mysteries which have been hid from the ages, from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. That's talking about the angel. See, and his saints, right, are not just NOI, but all original people, right? Now all is being revealed. Things like I'm telling you right now. You didn't know anything about these things. Master Muhammad told you about a lot of things that you didn't know about. See? And now all these things are being made manifest by the demons, who the dragon is, who the angel, who the jinn is, right? And who Lucifer is. All these things, who Michael is, all this stuff is being made manifest now. But watch this carefully here. Hold on for a second, brother. I'm gonna make sure let me hold on for a second. I think I kind of, let me make sure I got this right here before I do this. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I did this. Nope, I didn't. Hold on. Okay, hold on here. Okay. Okay, there you go. That's good. Okay. Okay. So this point, we're not here at this point in time yet. But I'm getting here, because I want to make a specific point. This is the angel key for those who are not aware of it, right? And this is what it looks at a time when the resurrection takes place. This is where we talk about the harvest, where you harvest everyone together, then you separate the chaff from the wheat, and then you cast out the wheat and throw it into the fire. So that's at that point right there, the resurrection is taking place, right? Now down here I have the Syrian and Iran. Now they're between the earth and the heavens, because these are referred to also as the heavens. See, but the earth is represented down here, and they're between the two. See, because they're called mid-heaven. In chapter 19, they're called mid-heaven, right? That's the Shia. See, they're between Europeans, and the rest of the Asians and everybody else, because they refer to as the heavens, okay? And the Europeans refer to as earth. See right here? Okay. Now, watch this carefully. Let's see. Now, that's when we in other words, this is the point where the demons are cast out and we removed. This is where Michael delivers, right, us home to Arabia, right? See, or we deliver, because they're not coming over here, we're going over there, right? So this is the ark, right? So demons are cast down, right? They're cast to the fire. Remember, that's the earth down there. See, because that's the story about Mark. Remember, Legion said he wanted to stay with his swine daddies. He didn't want to leave the country. That's another indication of that. Anyway, and on the side he says, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. So you got to read that carefully, because most people think that he's going to be talking in parables. See, open my mouth in parables. I will utter things. If he's explaining things hidden, then he's not talking in parables. What he's saying is he's explaining parables. I will open my mouth in parables. I'll be explaining parables. I will utter things hidden since, because if they're in parables, they're still hidden. But he's uttering things hidden. They're not hidden anymore, because he's explaining the parables. You got to read these things very carefully, brothers. The scriptures are written in such a way that you can easily stumble over stuff. I will open my mouth in parables. In other words, I'm telling you about explaining parables to you. See, our other things hidden. So if they're parables, they're still hidden. Our other things hidden since the creation of the earth. So that means soon might we open, explain parables, explain all this stuff to you. See? Okay, watch this carefully now. Now I'll put the intermediate step in here, right? I put it in there because it's a proper place. But I could bypass it. But I wanted to explain this because I think I didn't explain it accurately. See, here, let's go back here. See, remember it says in Mark, it says they wanted the legion and his legions, right? They wanted to stay with their swine daddies. So they cast down here, right? And then it says they all, the swine and them ran off the cliff together. So they got to fight them off the cliff together. So this is what this is saying right here. Once this happens, right? America is going to war, and the Europeans are going to war with their demons, because they hate the demons too. See, that's their children. That's their black-faced children. See, that's so-called locust wars. See, so they cast down, and so they get to fight with each other. And this is, after we left, just during tribulation, right, where they go to fight with each other, and they get destroyed. See. Their dads end up destroying them. They're destroyed. See. This is just before during the evasion, when China and India is going to invade America. I'm not going into kind of detail, but I'm just trying to understand what the point is. And then what happens? See, remember this river. This is China. This represents China here, and this represents India. See, the calf represents India, right? There's calf in the face of a man, and so forth, right? So this represents the river here, the rivers, and the sea. See, okay, what happens? That's the flood. That's so-called North Flood, where it drowns. That means, because the flood is not, it's a flood of humanity, not flood of water. That means that's the goat or the leopard in Daniel, with the yellows with brown spots, where they take and destroy Europeans after Europeans has been destroying themselves, end up destroying them. That's the flood. That's what we're talking about. So what I'm saying, the similarities here is that in the first God, I told you, he destroyed all those that opposed him, that wanted to maintain the status quo. He destroyed them with a flood, the oceans with water, and that's the same thing this God is going to do at the end, because that flood. See, what was holding that flood back? The Shia. See, that was holding it back. See, back here. See what was holding the flood back? The Shia. And they're his rod of angels. Rod of iron. See, they was holding the flood back. See, and here, this is the fortress. See, and so what he's saying here is that what? See, this is the will. This is Farad's will. See, so when this flood takes place, this apocalypse, right? Because that was a great apocalypse back then, right? We would be in the fortress on the wheel, and say we'll hear the faintest sounds of raging roarings of hell. There's similarities, bro and sister. I'm not going to go into any more detail of that, right? Like I said, as I get close, I explain more and more to you. But that's the same situation. We're going to stir up water while we be in the fortress. And everybody outside the fortress, right, they're in trouble. See, because that's the fortress, the ark. That's the fortress. And the flood comes and drowns them all. See? But we're in the fortress. See? The NOI, they're not in the fortress. They're going to tribulation because they're still part in the waters. This is not part of these waters. They're still in the waters because the flood was nine in the ark, right? There was 9 people in the ark, right? The God, Noah. There was 9 people in the ark, right? And with 2 of each pair, 2 of each kind. This is a lot of brothers and sisters. And they float on the waters. And they're in the waters. Because I explained that earlier. They had to go to tribulation because they let themselves deceived by lying Farrakhan. Anyway, I thought I'd explain it to you, brothers and sisters. Right? It says I explain things hidden from their foundations. So it's a similar situation. See, because they want to maintain. See, what was happening is that the Europeans, especially America, they want to maintain the status quo. They don't want this universe they don't want to change. They want to keep this reality as it is because they have the power. They want to keep it like it is because if it expands, they're going to lose power. Just like the angels in the beginning, they says if we expand this universe, right, we're going to lose power. We're going to lose energy. We're not going to maintain control anymore. And same thing, these Europeans, they say, if you contract the universe, we will, if you take that, right, and make an oath and make a new reality, we're going to lose power. We'll be lost in that. It will destroy us. And so they try to stop it. That's the great apocalypse. They try to stop it. See? And so Farad drowns them with a flood. They try to stop it. They can't stop the universe from contracting, but they can stop time from changing because time is not the universe expanding. The time is converting energy one form to another. If they don't change energy they don't convert energy to another form, then it will stay just like this. Even though the universe is contracting, it will still stay like this. because they would take and maintain this type of civilization. You see? They have to make adjustments for the increase in pressure. That's why this whole thing about cyborgs. So in other words, that the cyborgs will withstand greater pressure. A cyborg is a mechanical, electronic mechanical body encased with a brain encased in it. And that can withstand all the pressures that they would have to be exposed to, because they can't withstand this biological creation is against them. But that will withstand it, because metal is not affected by radiation, is not affected by disease and bacteria and virus and all that kind of stuff. See, all they have to do is protect the brain. And if they need a spare part, just get another metal arm or whatever. You see, but they want to maintain control, and that's what it's all about. So that was a great apocalypse back there, but this will be worse than that one. It's be worse than that. That's why Master Muhammad had to build a fortress to protect us when the great apocalypse breaks loose. And he's the one that's going to initiate it, because that's what happened. The first God he did, he brought in, he just combined, he created the flood, he created the oceans, which drowned them all. Put them all out, because everybody was fire. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So let's move on to other things I want to talk about here. Okay, let's hold on here. Okay, brothers and sisters, the clash of the gods. So I try to explain that in basic terms, right? The great apocalypse. That's not Armageddon. Armageddon is just a phase of it. See, the great apocalypse. See, this is the second one. There's two. It's that time of unprecedented trouble, but this is worse than the first one. See, it's worse than the first one. I said unprecedented, nothing like it. See, the first one was bad, but this one will be even worse, partly because we're in such a weakened condition. See, because the first God, he was more powerful. We was powerful beings, but he was more powerful than them. But we weak beings now, and we actually weaker than the adversary. See, but you got a God on the scene. He's prepared with a body, right? See, to withstand, to deal with this situation. And let me say something else here. Here I go, brothers and sisters. Like I said, there's so many things, and I don't want to get lost in a lot of stuff. But I want to say a couple of things here. See, I hope you understand what I mean by personification of things, because that's a very important concept. It's just like, you're taking like the winter, for instance. I mean, if you take and personify the winter, right, that means the people become the winner, and so the atmosphere and everything is normal. It's just that people become the winner. I'm not sure if that's really making a point here. Okay, say there's a famine, right? But you personify the famine. So now there's food, but you got people that come and take your food. So it has the same effect. You don't have any food, but it's personified, because now you have people that take your food from you. So it has the same effect as a famine. You don't have any food, but it's personified because people now represents the famine. That's what I mean by personification. So same thing with winter. So in other words, the weather's normal, but you got people that represent the winter. So they come in, they like blizzards and snow and ice. They come and freeze you, and they come and throw ice on you, and because you still have the same effect as winter, but it's coming from people as opposed to the normal weather. That's personification. See, So consequence can be personification. In other words, if you do wrong, right, instead of you having bad luck, you can just have bad people come around you that's going to be the same thing as bad luck. They're doing all kinds of stuff to you. And the effect is the same. It's just coming from people rather than just atmosphere. See, that's a good way of saying it. When you personify something, it's not in the atmosphere anymore. It's the people that represent the same effect, but it's coming from people. And so the devils, they're the personification of our energy deprivation. Because we go through energy deprivation, that means everything, we wouldn't have energy to maintain civilization or something like that there. So we'd have these people that would do the same effect because they took our civilization away. They took everything away from us. And that's what energy deprivation does, the same thing, but it came from people. Because that's where we do things. We personify everything. So there's no mystery gods, no spirit spooks out there. We personify everything. Okay, so now these people are doing all this evil that they went beyond the limits they was supposed to. They was made to make Mishra shed blood, so that was acceptable. See, that's what the Quran keeps talking about. The Quran keeps talking about stay within the limits of Allah. So in other words, they went beyond those limits. See, because rape, murder, torture, and all the stuff they did to us, the Holocaust, see, that's way beyond what they was allowed to do. See, but there was a personification of they personification of it. Because if we didn't make them, then we would still suffer the same things, right? But it'd been climate, it'd been disease and animal attacks and all extreme weather and stuff, right? So and it had the same effect, right? But you wouldn't be able to see it. I mean, it wouldn't be visible because But now we give it personification, make people the personification. That means you have some kind of leverage there because maybe you can see it coming. Because if you make the winner personification, right? You make people a personification of winner, right? Then you can see somebody come with a bucket of water or some ice. You can maybe get out the way. See. So you have some because if you have, in other words, then you have to have the knowledge of what's going on. And if you have the knowledge, you follow the knowledge, then you can avoid it. But it takes you a lot of energy to do it, but you can avoid it. You're still going to suffer, right? But you don't have to suffer that way. In other words, instead of losing an arm, right, you may mess around and instead of getting losing limbs, right? You may sit around and breaking limbs instead of losing them. You understand what I'm saying? So you suffer just as much, but you can control the suffering. You see? So in other words, instead of 5 plus 3 is equal, it could be 1 plus 7 equals 8. So you control it. So in other words, like I said, instead of losing your arm, right, then it may be that, you mess around and break your arm, break both of them. So you rather break both your arms than lose your arm, I guess. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. See? So by making a personification and then telling us what to do, then we can avoid a lot of the stuff that we would, we don't get away with it. It's just we control it. We control our suffering. I guess I say it that way. We control our suffering. We still suffer just as much. We control it. See? Just like a bulletproof vest, right? What's different on a bulletproof vest, right? You still get the same force. It just turned into pressure. So it might, instead of penetrating and killing you, and penetrating and your heart, your skin, and blowing away your heart, right? It may knock you down. It may knock you out. I mean, you maybe break some bones, right? So you suffer just as much, but the point is you didn't die. So you control the force. See, so it's still the same amount of force because pressure is just force, but it's just how you control it. So that's why we create them, so we can control, right, the nature of our suffering, because we would suffer for 4 or 5 years no matter what. But we control the nature of it. Hope you understand. Those that listen, those that didn't listen, they got the full impact. Okay, what I'm saying is because these people are doing all this evil. See, consequence is the fundamental nature of the universe. Consequence is a fundamental principle of the universe. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's the most fundamental principle because Islam is mathematics. Islam, the whole universe is nothing but mathematics. There's nothing special. It's mathematics, period. And consequence is the most fundamental principle of it. Every action has Opposite equal reaction. Without action, there's nothing. The universe is just stable, still. There's no time, nothing. But it has to have action. And for every action, there's opposite equal reaction. Every time, there's no exceptions. No exceptions to that. See? So that's another way to call a consequence. The Indians call it, Hindus call it karma. Anyway, it's consequence. Reap what you sow, right? See? Same thing. So, by them doing what they was doing, they was facing consequence. So what they was doing, they was producing the God of consequence. Master Muhammad is the God of consequence. Suleiman is the God, is the high priest of consequence. They produced it. They produced the God, because that's the form the consequence is taken. And the 144,000, they produced that because their actions. At the same time, they was also producing their wicked children. That's why it says the most wicked generation ever, because their children are so wicked. See, they produced that by their actions. And they cannot destroy it either, because you can't destroy the consequence of your actions. I thought I'd drop that on you, bro, and says, I hope if those of you that's paying attention, you catch that. If you catch that, boy, that's going to illuminate a lot of things for you. Because they produced it. Because if they hadn't done that, they would not have produced Master Muhammad. They wouldn't have produced the high priest, because there wouldn't have been any consequence for them to come into existence. They produced we're the consequence. See? We're the consequence. See, so we're going to balance this whole thing back out. See? Another side, I hope you understand that. See? Because when I say we're the consequence, it means we're the form of the energy that's going to take and make the consequential adjustment for whatever they've done. So it was, if you stole $10,000, $10,000 will be taken back from you. So the God of consequence is taking everything back that they took. See, go put everything back. That's where it's going to put everything, restore everything. Restore everything. Put us back on top of civilization, everything. See? So we're the consequence of their actions. Maybe another way of saying it is that, like I said, if you do something, there's a consequence. So we're the consequence. Not just that we exist, but we're providing. How do I say that, brothers and sisters? I want to make sure everybody understand this. See, our actions. There you go. Our positive actions, right, that we bring new creation, everything in, is a result of that's the consequence of what they was doing. That's the balance to balance everything back out. See, hope you understand that way, brothers and sisters. And another thing to look at. See, it says that when Suleiman, he says he would send his angels out and they would gather everything that offends and throw into the fire. Well, see, that's another thing too, brothers and sisters. Like, for instance, if you want to go out and you want somebody there's a whole panoply of fruit, all kinds of fruits, right? Apples, bananas, whatever, right? So you like apples. So you want to send somebody out, right, to gather all the apples. Well, you want to find somebody that likes apples, right? See? Because they can distinguish between all the others, and they're going to just bring that out. And all the others, because all you like is apples. That may not be such a good analogy, but what I'm saying is that not only are the God and the high priest the consequence, right? But not only that, but their very nature is the consequence. I think I kind of said that, but I'm saying for another reason. Because those who are going to be in the result of the new creation that they're bringing in, because remember, the consequences means that you're taking and changing this evil situation into a righteous one. Well, those that's going to be a part of that will be the ones that will they will have an affinity for the God, and they have affinity for the high priest. Now, they would like them because they wouldn't actually like them. Other people wouldn't like them. The people that's not going to make it, they ain't going to like them. They're not going to respond, and they ain't going to like them because it's going to be enmity between them. But the ones that's going, they're going to be affinity, so they're going to like them. I hope you understand that, brothers and sisters, right? They're going to like them because they're very nature. See? They're going to like, so they're going, because it says the sheep know his master's call. So they would like them. They would just like them. You see? They would be drawn to them. See? But that's why it says all that offend, because all that offend him would be the ones that ain't going anyway, because they're the ones that ain't going to make it, because they're going to be offensive to him, and they'll be offended by him, and he'll be offended to them. Hope you understand. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I think that's enough for you to get the gist of it. See? Because if you don't like Master Muhammad, then you want people that ain't going to make it. Because it's very nature, because some people just like for some reason, you don't know why. Some people just hate for some reason, don't like for some why. That's built in, brothers and sisters. See? So those that's going to make it 144,000, that's why I said they followed the land wherever he went, because they didn't actually like him. Everybody was hating him. They didn't like him. Because their nature, because I'm going to say it another way, right? Well, I'm just going to elaborate and then move on. Because that's the nature of it. See, remember, they are the consequence, but also they're the nature, their very nature is the nature of the people that's going to move into a new reality. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'm going to really talk about that more deeply another time when I can really, because maybe some of you brothers and sisters that, that you pay attention, maybe you can explain it a better way, because that's part of the thing, some people can explain it, like I said, it's like a tree, right? A tree has many branches, right? So here's this branch, and he can say things that these people can identify with, but another branch they wouldn't pay no attention because they have like Elijah, right? Okay, he was saying things that elder people related to, but he wasn't really connecting with the younger people. Malcolm came along and they connected because he could say things in a way that they can relate to. That doesn't get away from the point that the liking and disliking. Because if you didn't like Elijah Muhammad, you wasn't going to become no FOI. The people that came there was people attractive. That's one of the reasons why when he left, they fell apart. Because that's some kind of that you say that's idolatry. No, there's a little bit of idolatry in it. But the point is, he wasn't. Well, a lot of them, there was idolatry in that sense, because most of them was there because they just liked them. There's like a lot of people with fire conscience because they like them. See, but see, Suleiman, he's putting a wrinkle into that. He's throwing a monkey wrench in that, so to speak. See, because not only have you like him, right, but you got to meet a certain standard. Just because you like him, that's not going to be enough. See, he takes it. Because that's why you put it. He got to certify you. Because just like him, because you still not be enough. You got to be a certain standard. Because we're gonna build a kingdom that's gonna last forever. So I thought I'd mention that, brothers and sisters. Let's move on. I talk a lot. Maybe I'm gonna cut a lot of stuff short because I didn't mean to talk as much as I did. And I'm trying to keep these things. It's not a time. It's not a time. Concern here, right? But the concern is that there's so much talk about brothers. Every time I come to a point, I can elaborate on some of these points for 2 or 3, 4 hours. I don't want to do that. See. Okay. The apocalypse. And we talked about this, the flood. So we're going to pass on that. And I want to talk about a couple of other things here, and then we're going to move on. Okay, here. Now, which one of you, once you get past grammar school, is going to take your grammar school books to high school? Which of you would do that? How stupid would that be? You're going to take your grammar school books to high school, and you expect to be taught from those books that you got in grammar school, then you might as well stay in grammar school, right? Which of you would do something as dumb as that? Oh man, I'm gonna take my grammar school books, I'm gonna take the high school, and I'm gonna demand that my teacher teach me from these grammar school books. How many of you are stupid enough to do that? I'm gonna take my grammar school books, right? Multiplication, subtraction, division, whatever, right? I'm gonna take that to high school, right? Where they teaching calculus and algebra and stuff. I'm gonna demand that teacher teach me in high school these grammar school books. Which of you is dumb enough to do something like that? You know who would? Farrakhan's people, Sai's people. That's what we're saying. Just like the Sunnis, right? Okay, time moves on. I'm gonna take this Quran, which was I'm gonna take it to the next level. But I want to demand only that. Right? Same thing. Master Muhammad took us into grammar school. See, Elijah Muhammad taught grammar school, took us out of, because we knew anything. See? So Master Muhammad got us into grammar school, got us out of kindergarten into grammar school because we didn't know nothing. So he got us into grammar school. Elijah Muhammad taught us grammar school, 42 years, got us through grammar school. We graduated grammar school. And then Suleiman will come along and take you into college and beyond. But you say, no, I want them kindergarten books. I don't want no advanced book. I want them grammar school books. See how dumb you are? See how stupid you are? See? So you hold on to that. You hold on to that ignorant, stupid idea. See? Because that's why they give you the scriptures. The scriptures come and give you the book and move one grade to the next grade to the next grade to the next grade. But time is moving on, right? Because time is just moving on by itself. The God is moving on. He's not wasting time for you. Just like the first God, he said, okay, hell, you don't want to expand the universe? Got rid of them. Millions of them. Some of you say billions of them. Just overnight. See? You don't want to move on? I'm moving on. I'm expanding the universe. I'm expanding. It ain't by itself. I'm expanding it. See? So you move on to the next level, then you stay behind. Now they're in the past. They're 72 trillion years in the past. That's how dead they are. 72 trillion years dead. See? So they give you those scriptures. That's to move on to the next level. So now you got the book that's called Apocalypse. That's what Revelation, that's the name they actually call it. But we translate English, it's called Revelation. But you go back into Greek and everything, it's called Apocalypse or Apocalypse. I forget it says that, but it means apocalypse, right? Because that's where it reveals all the stuff that we need to know for the apocalypse. Because we're in the apocalypse and all that stuff is in the Injil about what's to happen. It's not in the Quran. They have no idea what's going on. It's not messaged black in general. See? But that's the book, and it tells you that's the book. It says it's sealed down tight with 7 seals, right? To be revealed only at the time of the apocalypse. Because that is the apocalypse. That's why it's called apocalypse. Revealed only to a time of the apocalypse. I mean, how simple can it be? See? So you want to hold on to Elijah's teachings? Fine. I'm going to stick with the grammar school. Well, you stay in the grammar school then. Don't come up here bothering us in college. We don't want your dumb ass up here talking, I know. You don't want to move on to the next grade and stay there or drop out. We don't give a damn. See, because we on the next level. We going to college and beyond. Think about that one. It says, like Muhammad said, it'd be made so simple. The truth be made so simple and food in the earth. You can't be any more simple than that. Oh, I got it, message back. Well, you hold on to it. I got saviors about. You hold on to it. See? But we got the AL-INJIL. See, we moving into college and beyond. So you stay your dumb ass down there with your add and subtraction, right? You keep on. With your numerology, hold on to that. Hold on to it. Because we ain't asking you to do anything. And we sure not going to pull you up. It didn't say Suleiman would pull people up. It said it would save his people by knowledge. That's right? Nobody's going to pull you up. Nobody's going to pull you up. They lift you up with knowledge. But nobody's going to sit around and pull and waste time. No, because God's moving fast, and we keep up with it because we want to be in that fortress, right? When the flood comes. See? Because apocalypse officially started 2020 with that first, right? But technically, from the kinetic point, that's when the war takes place in the Middle East. That says chapter 20. War broke out in the Middle East. War broke out in heaven. Michael's angels, Pharaoh and his angels, the Shia, go against the dragon, his house saw, and his angels, Gog, Magog, and Dajjal, which is America, Britain, and false Israel. And they tell you what happens there. So hold on to your grammar school stuff. Hold on to it. The Holocaust. See? The Holocaust. The Holocaust, brothers and sisters, let me make a move. Might say change here. Do it like that. The Holocaust. See, they keep telling you about the slavery, a whitewash. See, look up slavery. Brothers, you got to ask questions because they took 64 years to transform you into a Negro butt. Took 64 years to realize Muhammad taught, not this crap Farrakhan talking about, well, no. Because you came over here, they brought you over here, it took 64 years to transform you from Kuta Kinte into Toby, Negro butt. See? Program to self-destruct, program to follow master instructions, program not to think, period. See? Transform to think shit is honey. They changed your taste buds. They programmed it. So now you eat all this shit and you think it's honey. Oh man, American dream, all this stuff, right? And you eat shitlings, you think it's good. Oh man, I love them shitlings, man. It's shit. But you've been programmed to think shit is good. That's a clear sign right there. It's shit. Everybody knows it's shit. It's called shit. It's shit. You can see it when you cook it. You smell it. You see shit rising over there and everything else. And that's what it is. That's what it's called. That's what it's called when you was on and change shitlings. There's changes S to a C, and you eat it up. Oh man, and you can see it, but you think it's good. That's the program they did to you. Self-destruct. They think shit is honey, and that's a clear sign right there. See. That wasn't called slavery. Slavery is an economic system. It's capitalism at its best. Low overhead, maximum profit. Exactly what slavery is. That was the economic system. But the other part, the interreaction, right, the social part, that was horror. It was 400 years of horror. Look at these people, heads on. You think that's not slavery? That's horror. Put terror, you terrorize. With terror butts. Who is terror butts? That was their children. The infiltrator kept terror in you. They had terror on the outside. The devils, they was terrorized from the outside. And they had the terror butts terrorizing from inside. That was their children that looked like you, walk like you. Their black-faced children from raping black women. Terror butts. Terrorizing from inside, and they was terrorizing from outside, and they still terrorizing inside right now. You go to Chicago, nothing but crime, killing. That's the terror butts doing that. That's their demons. That's their children doing that. Ain't you? They keep you terrorized, right? That's why you're doing a lot of things you're doing, because you're in terror with these people. You're in terror with these people. You've been terrorized ever since you've been here, and they're using the terror butts to do it. That's their black-faced children. You see them all over the news. You see them all over Hollywood, right? Rich and famous, right? Television, sports. That's their children. That's Master's house. They love Master. They wave the flag. If you go against that, they shut you down. Remember that sister? She said, "I'm not going to wave the flag and the Olympics." Shut down. Remember Copernic, whatever his name is. Because the only ones you're going to hear is them, right? And they keep terror, and that's what keep us under control. See? So they call it black on black crime. No, it's not black on black crime. It's terror butts, right, against the Negro butts. Robot against robot crime. Terror butts against the Negro butts. That's what it is. And we're getting ready to short circuit that programming for the Negro butts, and we're going to raise you up, just like I said, and get your mind back. That's the lion in Daniel, right? He got his mind, had Gog and Magog plucked off of him, out of their control. He was under their control, and then his mind was given back to him. It was a Holocaust. It was 400 years of horror. Don't let them keep bullshitting you with this slavery stuff. Yeah, it was slavery, but that was the economic part of it. Look up slavery. Had nothing to do with all this other stuff they did. We 400 years of horror is a Holocaust. Get it straight, brother. Be real. Start asking questions and deprogram yourself. Because the minute you start asking questions, all of a sudden, your programming starts short-circuiting. Because everything they told you is a lie. Everything they told you is a lie. When you start asking questions and start demanding proof, all of a sudden, you start deprogramming yourself. And all of a sudden, you start, and they say, what's wrong with him? See, just like everywhere I go. And Jimmy, what's wrong with you? Well, why's got to be something wrong with me? Because I don't be dealing with you? Because I know who you are? I don't be fist bumping with you? I don't want to talk to you? Why is something wrong with me? See? And then say, I know terror butts all around me. Hey, brother, what's wrong with you, man? Get the hell out of my face. I see it every day. And once you wake up, you start seeing it too. See? Because the devil say, right? And then he said, terror butts in. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with that nigga over there? He don't talk to nobody. He don't ain't bow nobody. He ain't fist bumping. See? The terror butts coming. Hey, man, what's going on with you, man? See? They send terror butts in. See? And they want to fight you and get Tim. They want, I went to the military. See? I started deprogramming. I didn't know I was programmed. I mean, I was different. And I wasn't afraid of white folks. I was 17 years old. And every time they came at me, I came back at them. All other blacks, they was like scared to death of them. They was like mostly from the South, and they was like scared to death. I couldn't understand. Why y'all so afraid of white folks? And I mean, it actually happened that way. And every time I'm getting ready to go off again. My first night, I'm in Stuttgart, right? I come into Germany. You sent me, I ended up in a place called Wild Flicker. Sent me to Stuttgart. So I'm laying down in the bunk, right? Because we stayed there a couple of days, transition, whatever. And this thing, I know, I wake up, this dude, Barrett, I think his name was, some white dude. So he's right by my bunk, right? He's got this big old Bowie knife. He's throwing it in the hunting knife. He's throwing it to this thing that go here in the hardwood floor, right? Hey, man, I'm a Hell's Angel, man. And we don't like niggas around here. And he got all his boys, they're over in the corner, right? See? Around their bed, and there wasn't no blacks, it's just me, right? And he's doing, we don't like me. I'm a Hell's Angel, all this. You see what I'm saying? And so, no, actually, I wasn't in Stuttgart. I just think about it, because my first night in Wild Flicker, and that's where it was. That's where it was, because I remember the rest of the story. It's a long time ago, bro, so bear with me, because I'm 73 years old. I was 17 at the time, right? Who was that? What, 60-some years ago? Anyway, so I'm not saying anything, right? So then he goes back over to his bunk. I'm laying this, I fell asleep again. So then he kicked my bunk, and he's doing the same thing again, man. I told you, we don't, I guess the whole point was I supposed to jump up and run out of there. I wouldn't jump, I'd run anywhere. I wasn't scared. I've never been scared. I mean, I never been, after my father was like, he was old school from Louisiana, old school. And he used to kick my ass about every day. I wasn't a bad kid, but I guess that was old school stuff, right? And he passed when I was 14 years old. And when he passed, like I said, my mother had passed when I was 9, so I was an orphan, basically. I was 14 years old at the time, right? So I was on my own. I was technically on my own, right? And after I went to that, so I didn't curse the man. I loved the man. I still love him. I wish he was here today, right? And I thought about it, and I was happy, that he did that, because I was terrorized. I was in terror of that man. I mean, I've never been afraid of anybody in my life. I was afraid of that man. And when I knew he was coming home from work, he used to do construction work. He was short, about 5 feet tall. I'm taller than him, but I was being I was afraid of that man, boy. I mean, I remember. See, here I go again. I give you an example. And I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a smart kid, very smart. They all knew it. He knew it. Everybody knew it, right? And we knew about showers back then, right? We knew about bathtubs. And I knew we can take a bath every day. I think about like once a week or something like that, right? I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, when you take a bath, you use baths, those people know about this, right? You leave a ring around the tub. And that ring is hard to wash out with Ajax and like stuff later, right? Because now I had to wash it out. Now that's hard work, washing that ring out because it dries up and everything, right? So I realized that if you washed it while you was in there, while it was still wet, it just come right off, right? So I did that. So I did that. I went back, did it, dried up, went in my room. Next thing I know, my father came and grabbed me, bam. Boy, I told you to take a bath. I said, I did take a bath. I don't see no ring. So he filled it up with cold water, ice cold water, and put my ass in there and bathed me in the ice cold water, man. Then he whooped my ass afterwards. I ain't messed around. I left a ring from then on. That's where he was. See? But I still love the man. And the point I'm trying to make here is that because nothing I've experienced in my life, right, caused me to have any fear of anything. When I went to Vietnam, I was never in fear at any time because after that, that 5 year experience between the time mother passed and I was so terrible that he made my heart so strong, I guess. I ain't never been in fear of anything. So I love him for it. I wish he was around and they talked to him. See? So I'm just saying that. See? But what I was saying about in the military, so I said this happened, right? So, yeah, that guy's name was Burroughs. That was his name. So, I went up to the EM Club. They had an EM Club, right? I saw him up there because I didn't know where he was. He wasn't even, I didn't see him after that until I was up at the EM Club. I just ran to him, and when he came outside, I jacked his ass up. Right? And you know what happened? 2 days later, I get in a fight with 2 Negro butts. You know why? Because they was defending him. I said, what the hell is this all about? I'm telling you, I'm talking from experience. I ain't talking about from theory. Anyway, I'm going to leave that alone. So, you see those people causing all this trouble, and the ones making you look like fools on TV and everything. See, those are demons, master's children. And the ones causing all this fusion, raping and cars jack and all that kind of stuff, right? Those are demons also, but they're terror butts. See, they're designed to keep you in terror, keep you in fear. See, because they want to keep us in fear. That's how they control us. That was their first weapon, fear, to keep us under control, and it works. But now we're breaking past that, and we're going to break complete past in a minute. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. So let's move on. Don't let them tell you about the CRT stuff. They don't want CRT. It wasn't a theory. Try calling the Holocaust a theory, see what happens. It wasn't a theory. See, they're trying to whitewash all this stuff. It was hard. Don't let them tell you it was slavery. See, it was horror. 40 years of horror. Look at this. That look like slavery to you? That look like slavery to you, brothers and sisters? This was 24/7, 365, 400 years times maybe, 100 million amount of people? Come on. Now they want to whitewash it. Okay, let me change this for you, brothers and sisters. Okay, the apocalypse. That's why right now it officially started 2000 came with the plague on exactly 1620, 1619, 2019, and 40 years. Read up the Abraham covenant. It's in the so-called Old Testament and New Testament. 400 years, then a plague immediately will come that will kill the firstborn, right? That's the elderly, and pass over you. And it's been passing over us. I keep saying it over and over again, just Google the World Health Organization, WHO, and they put out a paper a couple of months ago saying that it's not, they couldn't understand why the plague wasn't affecting Black Africa, Haiti, any place that blacks control. Apocalypse. The great epic battle for control in this era, in this time, right? They want to maintain control because they have control. They want to maintain control. They have control of the world. They want to maintain it. And we taking it back from them. That's the great battle. Same thing was in the beginning, right? The angels wanted to maintain that status quo. They didn't want the universe to spin because they had control. And they went to war to try to stop it, and the God destroyed them. And that's what's happening right now. They're going to war against the God. That's why it says in chapter what, 19, I believe chapter 17, where they gathered together to make war with the God. See? They want to maintain this status quo. They want to maintain control. But we're going to take it from them. We're taking everything back. And that's that stone in Daniel, that little stone that's crushed all of them. We're that little stone, brothers and sisters. We're that little stone, it's a small stone, but it crushes all of them. See? Now I'm going to briefly go through this, brothers and sisters. See? Let me make a little change here. I talked about this yesterday. I'm going to briefly talk about it again a little bit today. I said the Dragon War officially, Michael's angels goes against war with the Michael Faraday's angels, that's Shia, go to war with the Dragon's angels, which is the House of Saud. They say, oh, yeah, I told you years ago. They're going. Saudi Arabia is going to be aligned with false Israel. No, okay, what's going on now? Abraham Accords. They're changing backstories and everything else, right? And they're preparing the war. They're helping Israel, false Israel, to go to war with Iran. Told you years ago. This is what happened. Now you see it's happening, right? Dragon war. So you better get down with the angel, brothers and sisters. That's the one that's going to kick it off. See, we're effectively in it now, but that's going to turn into a hot war, right? See, where America and Britain, false Israel, America and Britain, that's God can make God is kicked out of the Middle East. See, leaving false Israel stranded, encircled, and under siege, right? And immediately, when America's kicked out, immediately they go to war, right? In Europe against Russia. And also EU, which is going to turn on them. I'm not going to go into those details here. That what immediately kicks up, that's Armageddon. The war in Europe, that's Armageddon. See, the Dragon War is Armageddon. The war in Europe is Armageddon. At the same time, right, they're going to have wars here, a race war in America, right? Because this is during the time that false Israel is taken down. See? Which is not supposed to happen. See, that proves they're false. They have true seed Abraham, and you got America claiming, the Europeans claiming they're the spiritual seed Abraham. You got false Israel claiming the seed of Abraham, right? So those who claim they're Jews not but synagogue of Satan, so they're guilty of identity theft. They pretend they're us, and then you got Arabs. They say they're seed of Abraham. So everybody's claiming to be seed of Abraham, which they are, but by his maid, they wanted to get the heritage. The heritage would go to Isaac. That's us, and we the true seed of Abraham. We got the real claim. So why is the whole world wrapping everybody's claim? You ever think about that? See, so when false Israel goes down, because right now they supposed to have a legitimate claim that everybody recognizes, but that means when they return, they cannot be destroyed. So now they're destroyed, and that turns the whole world upside down. See, and that means you're gonna have a race war here in America. That's going to has a result of that, but I'm not going into details about it. But you have a race war here in America, right? You have first of all, the Jews in America are going to be they're going to be in trouble because now they're going to blame them for their destruction over because they're going to say, "Well, y'all was fake. Y'all told us y'all was real Jews. We got in that war over there, and now we're getting our ass kicked, and all this trouble we had over the last 50 years. We was blessing you." And you wasn't the real thing. See, so those are the ones here, they're going to go after them worse than Hitler ever did. See, and it all goes and it says anybody in the country that outside their country is going to be cut through. That means the Chinese they're going to have to gather together, protect themselves. The Indians, it's going to be a total race war here in America. Not even mention right between the demons and the saints. It's going to be a total race war here in America. See, during that time. See, so they won Europe, and they got insurrection going here in America, right? And then, right, and then you got the next phase of this is you got the demons, right? Go head to head. The demons go head to head, right? 17 million. It says half the blacks in America are demons, half are saints. Half is wheat, half is chaff. See, and so it's 17 because they're gonna be rounding them up, trying to get them to go to war, help them fight in that war over in Europe, and they're gonna be putting them in concentration camps. A lot of men, but they're gonna go full attack. Full attack. No, this race war is gonna heat up to extremes. See, that's the demon versus God war. See. And they get destroyed in that war. Demons get destroyed in that war. See. Okay, then you got the Jinn Wars. That's when we go back, we return home. The Jinn are the Arabs, Sunni Arabs. See. It's another story altogether. I'm not going to go into detail. But like when Joshua, when they was taken from Egypt, right? They was taken back to the promised land, then they was told to take it because there was Arab people there living there. So they're going to resist. See, because they betrayed us to begin with, they're going to resist. The house of Saud, they're gone. The leadership, they're gone. They ran back to India because that's the Indians begin with. And so now there's a conflict between us and the Arabs to take the land back. That's the Jinn Wars. See. Now all this time, you had three things happening, right? China becomes a new superpower. That's what we're talking about. The dragon gave its power over to the beast. I'm not going into all the details about that. That's what it's talking about. And also India. So India is going to turn on America. See? And they're going to ally themselves with China. Right? Then you're going to have Africa. All during this time, Africa is going to break into two parts. Non-Islamic Africa and Islamic Africa. See? Where it's going to be led by not yours truly, but Obama. Okay, we'll see. Right? Because he's from there. I'm not going into details, but he's going to lead that. He's going to lead the non-Islamic Africa. See? And they're going to be at war with, they're going to take down, that's the flood I told you about. They're going to take down America, all Europe. First they're going to take down Britain, then America, then all Europe. They're going to be all working together. Then once that happens, right, then they're going to go fighting with each other. It said Lucifer's going to win that war. See, people don't realize if you take the entire population of the continent of Africa, it almost rivals the population of China and India. They got a lot of people there. But see, you look at it as countries. But if you look at the whole continent, they're the same people, right? They got their population rivals. And plus, those people have been in war for constantly. So you can see how they could win, because most of those nations have been constant war for hundreds, but for decades. The children born in war. Anyway, it says they're victorious. And so now he has control of China and India, their militaries, and he's the top, and he's got control of the whole world, the entire world except for the Middle East. That's what it says. When you see Israel at peace and harmony and no fence around them and everything else, it says then they're going to say, let's go after and take them down. And that's the final war. So it says, the Lamb versus the kings of Lucifer's war. The kings represents China and India. They all come together. And that's the final war of an apocalypse. See. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave that one there. I think that's pretty much it. Oh. I think I'm going to talk about this. It's going to take a little bit, brothers and sisters. This reparations trap. See, they got all these plans. Y'all need to talk about this because another thing I want to talk about after this. I'm going to briefly run through this. I got a whole presentation about this reparations trap. Let me check something out real quick first, brothers and sisters. I'm going to take a slight minute break here. Let me check out something here. One second. Okay, see, that's good. Okay, bro, I said get something to drink here because my throat was getting kind of raspy. Okay, let's hold on here. This reparations trap. I got a whole presentation about this, so I'm gonna talk about it briefly. See, you are the recipients or the inheritors of the Abrahamic covenant. That land, Arabia, is your land. You say, well, I don't know what that land's covered sand. You need to understand that land was covered sand. We did that 50,000 years ago to protect it. We're going to blow that sand away. You understand where all comes from? All comes from decayed organic matter. That's where all comes from. Same thing topsoil comes from. And a little segue here. They're telling you right now America's run out of topsoil. How you know America's run out of topsoil? They did the same thing in Europe. That's why they ran out of Europe, because they couldn't grow anything. They were starving over there. So they came and took from everybody else. But now they already done raped the American soil. How do you know that? See, they won't tell you directly. Because where they tell you they're getting all their fertilizer from? What do you think fertilizer is? They're getting it from Russia. So why they got to import if they got good topsoil here? They're telling you running out. And now they're in trouble with Russia. If Russia cuts off, that's why they won't be able to grow anything here. That's why I'm talking about they may be food shortage. They won't come out and tell you they done raped the land. And you're talking about you want 6 states. It won't grow anything in maybe 5 or 10 years. You'll be starving to death. See? So you need to understand that. But anyway, that's where topsoil comes from. The same where oil comes from. And so you got, where's the greatest source of oil in the world, they say, right? It's in Arabia. Oh, it was. That means there was a lot of organic life there. That means there was a what do you call it? When you have a lot of animals and stuff, like a paradise, right? Lush plant life and animal life. See? That was there. Because they have to die to produce all that. And it got so much of it, that means it was a lot of animal life and plant life and stuff. So it wasn't a desert. And the same thing does topsoil. So if you're going in, that means under that sand, there's a lot of topsoil too. Maybe miles of it, maybe yards, 1,000 yards of it, it's a lot of it. That's why I said a land overflowing milk and honey. Where does honey come from? Honey comes from bees, plants and stuff. That means you're going to have a lot of paradise of plants. And where does milk come from? Come from cows have a lot of meat and stuff. But we got to blow the sand away. So all that all means a lot of that's why we cover it, because it'd be the most fertile land on the planet, because they've raped almost the whole planet. And they're trying to, a lot of that stuff that stuff you buy from the store, the plants and stuff, the fertilizer, they get that stuff from Africa. That's a whole other story, bro. Says you got these weak African leaders. What they're doing is they selling their topsoil. That's why you have a lot of famine stuff in Africa. They sell their topsoil to America, because America's running out. That's another story together. But the bottom line is that land is yours. And that's why everybody's against you, because they don't want you to return to it. But we're going to return to it, right? Okay. But Farrakhan tell you we ain't going nowhere. And then you're familiar with Elijah Muhammad, Master Prophet Muhammad. That was the whole purpose of coming here. Said we're going to return home. That's the whole purpose of Elijah Muhammad teaching before his meeting. We're going to return home. Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere because he's working for them. He's working for the Sunnis. They paid him off, everybody, because He said, you ain't going nowhere. That means he called Master Muhammad's mission a whole lie. He's calling Elijah Muhammad's mission a whole lie, his whole mission, right? Because he's a demon. He's one of them. See? But you have a choice. That's it. Because if you think you have no choice, well, yeah, well, I might as well go into the American dream. I mean, that makes sense. That's logical. If you have you ain't going to place else, then you might as well make the best this year. But the American dream is building for is building their reality, not yours. That's another story altogether. Anyway, so the whole idea is you got this covenant, you got this agreement. Read it. It's both the Old Testament and the New Testament. So-called Old Testament, so-called New Testament is right there. See, so you'd be 400 years in a Holocaust. After 400 years, God will come and judge. You see, that's why they knew what happened. That's why I was saying being nice to you. See, because they know they're in trouble. But they don't want you to know. See, because it came right on time. 2020 came with a plague. Just like it says in April, it came with a plague. That's the first plague to kill the firstborn. It's the first of 10 plagues. You got 9 more. That's the war in Armageddon. But anyway, that's the first. So to kill the firstborn, that's the elderly, and pass over you. Now, I just told you about the World Health Organization. You can Google it. Everything we say you can prove. They said it wasn't affecting Black Africa. It wasn't affecting Haiti. It wasn't affecting countries, African countries that were Africans control. But they tell you over here was lapping top like flies because they won't lie, because they don't want you to know that God's come for you. That this is your time. Abraham comes about you. You're the true seed of Abraham. That's a big secret they're trying to keep from you. But the bottom line is that you have this contract with God. So they're trying to get you to be stupid enough to abrogate that contract. So you don't went and you've been 10 years paying down this Lamborghini. Now you finally paid off. Then you go to collect it, and then you got the slick guy. Hey man, my name is Farrakhan, man. Look at me. Look how cute I am, man. I'm a good, I got my breath is good and everything else, man. I'm a good salesman. You don't need that Lamborghini, man. Man, that's too expensive, man. It's too. Why you want to get that, man? You want to pay all high insurance, man. The maintenance pay. You got to get a garage, all this stuff, man. You know, I mean, why don't you take this BMW over here, man? It still got Class C, right? Right, and everything else, and you ain't got all that trouble, man. Why don't you take that instead? And so you go for that bullshit. So you go, and then you get home, everybody start laughing, your wife start beating you upside the head. What the hell wrong with you, Negro butt? What's wrong with you? What you do dumb stuff like that for? Well, he told me, yeah, okay. Man, you better tell the thing back and you go back. And then you go to the judge, just to get the hell out of here. You made the agreement. You're a grown man. You made the agreement, you made the deal, so get the hell out of here. So now you're stuck with that, and you miss out on Lamborghini. That's the game plan here. Because if they can get you to get this reparation, that means you accept that for the higher cost. You accept that for the hard cost. So you're going to turn into a civil suit. You accept that for all the damage they've done to you. See, this reparations. So okay, let's follow this process. Let's see how this mechanics of this thing works. Okay, first of all, you do that. So now the God, he ain't here, but so they got the God of his back because you accept that. So now there's no punishment. They put it another way, right? You get in a fight with 7 guys, and you Bruce Lee, right? So you kick all their ass. You put them all in the hospital, right? So then, hey man, now they're gonna press charges. You're going to jail for about 20 years, right? You say, oh man. So then you go and say, hey, man, I'm gonna give y'all $50,000 a piece, man. Y'all just, take care of your hospital bill and everything. You can put some money in your pocket and everything. Just don't press no charges. So 6 of them say, yeah, man, we down with that. But one says, hold on, I'm not gonna go with that, man. Hell, I'm putting your ass in jail. I don't care what you got. Then the deal don't work because you have to have 100% compliance. Because if one press charge, you're still going to jail for 20 years because the other one have to do it. And then on top of that, you don't pay that money. And then, and it's still a criminal charge. See? So they had to have 100% compliance. That's why they push so hard now. They would have gave reparations before, but Elijah Muhammad wasn't going along with it. He wasn't going, that's why they had to get him out the way and bring Farrakhan in. And Farrakhan's down with it. Yeah, give us 6 states. There's reparations. They have to have 100% compliance. Because one person hold out, and everybody, all blacks in America is down with that. Right now, all blacks in America is down with that reparations deal. Right? Except me. See? And they already tried to kill me. I can show you the pictures. Right? I ain't just making anything up. See? Because they got to have 100% compliance. See? Because if only one person, then that person will get the promised land. He'd go and give it to him. And they would still punish these people for everything he did. From the Holocaust. See, so I explain that to you. So look at the mechanics of this thing. Okay, so you get the car. Okay, see, cause they want to give you everything right now, right? They want to give you everything right now. They want to give you America, they want to give you the whole thing. They love you so much right now all of a sudden, right? Okay, so then they take and say, okay, we're going to give all you black folks, all of you, $1 million a piece. Wow. We're going to give you 6 states, landlocked states. Make sure, understand. They don't give you California, they don't give you Louisiana, right? They don't give you Detroit and Michigan, landlocked states, right? Where nobody can, no connect, no access to water or anything, where you can get the hell out of here, right? So they give you the states. Okay, so now, oh man, well, we got our states, man. See, forget about you ain't prepared for it, because Farrakhan tell you ain't going nowhere, but he ain't preparing you for it, is he? He give you education, he train electricians, he train engineers and stuff. No, he ain't doing none of that, because he's a liar. Anyway, so you get it. So now you're there. Everybody got $1 million, man. Even the children, everybody's, oh man, we all millionaires. And then, so you over there, then they close the border. Now you got your own country. See? You're landlocked, but you got your own country. You're under control. You ain't under control of America anymore. You got your own country, right, and everything. And everybody's got $1 million. $1 million, right? That's it. Yes. Ask people in Libya about Liberia about American money, because that's what money they used to use over there. I don't still use it. Anyway, so then once they do that, see, now you see, oh, some of you people, white folks could take and cut your mother to pieces, cut your dad to pieces, right? And everything else, and you say, hey man, they probably deserved it, because some of you think that way, because you don't care. Whatever they do, because remember, you're a Negro, but you're programmed to accept everything they tell you. You're programmed to eat shit and think it's honey, see? But your program is about to be short-circuited. But anyway, so then they tell all the white folks over here in America, right? Take your money and transform it into precious metals, precious jewels, whatever, right? Gold, silver, diamonds. See? Then once they do that, they start printing money like crazy. They print money so the money becomes valueless. In other words, a loaf of bread that was costing you $1, now it costs you $10. Now it costs you $100. Now it costs you $1,000 for $10,000. Don't think that kind of thing didn't happen, because go back and look at Germany before Hitler. That's how Hitler rose, because a loaf of bread was cost like $1 million. I could tell the whole story. I don't want to go there, but because that's what the inflation that caused inflation. But look at the inflation in Rhodesia. See, they don't call it Rhodesia anymore. I think called Zimbabwe. Anyway, so those $1 million they'll turn to nothing. Turn to nothing. Then you landlocked. You can't communicate. You can't. Plus, like I said, forget about the part you ain't prepared. You ain't got no infrastructure or anything like that. You got nobody that can run this stuff. But even if you did, right, now you have nothing. See? And then you run back to Master, hey, he done closed the border on your ass. See? Now you want to come back to Master. You ain't got no money, you're landlocked, and your food, nothing will grow. Because you gave your land, right, that didn't have any topsoil. See? That's the end of you, Negro butts. That's an end you. See? It's a trap. See? And nobody's going to help you, because say, y'all made a decision. That's your own country. If y'all that stupid, that's your problem. Did anybody come and help you during the 40 years of Holocaust? Did anybody come and speak of you during the... So why would they speak for you then? They still don't speak for you now. I worry about those people in Mexico. Hey, how many Mexicans ever stood up and say, what's wrong with those? Why y'all doing stuff to black people? Why don't y'all... When you ever seen a Mexican get up and do that? When you see an Indian get up and do it? When you see a Chinese get up and do it? But you always worrying about them. You got this Negro dance or whatever. He over there in Ukraine. I'm tired of Putin doing this, man. I'm going to go and kick some ass, man. Dumbass. Come on, boy. He's a demon. He's stupid, too. Right? And he don't understand the Ukrainians. Don't you understand? All the so-called modern-day Jews, they came out of Ukraine. And they was the one that financed the slave trade. This ain't making this up. They was the biggest slave owners come out of Ukraine. Ukraine used to be the Russian Empire. That was almost the capital. That's like the Mecca of the whole Russian Empire. And that's where the Jews came out of there. Almost all the so-called Jews out of false Israel, they came out of Ukraine. Then they call in Ukraine now, what they call it, then they use it now is like it's going to be the big Israel or something like that there. And they was the biggest, they the one financed the slave trade. They was one who had the most, he's over there, I'm. Do you see any blacks over there in Ukraine? Do you see one in any of those pictures? Dumb, man, woo. Anyway, that's your reparation. You go for it. See, we ain't going for it. I ain't going for it. Brothers and sisters, they got trips. But I'm going to do just one last thing here. This is, and I want you to understand this, brothers and sisters. You understand? The reparations trap. And I'm going to go this pretty quickly. The Islam destruction plan. See, I'm going to connect some dots for you. See, because this is something anybody should be able to understand if you got a couple of brain cells left, right? So we're going to walk through this, right? We're going to walk through this. See, how they plan. See, let me put it like, in 1990, they had this program called the McLaughlin Group, right? And it has kind of named Pat Buchanan. Some of you older folks probably remember him, right? He ran for president and everything else, right? And this was when they took down the Soviet Union. And so this group is like a talk group, right? Talk show like The View or something like that, right? And McLaughlin, he was the one that led it. And Pat Buchanan said, he's a major politician, right? He was a Reagan guy. He says, now that we've taken down the Soviet Union, now the next step is to take, he said, this is what all the politicians in America is talking about, all the top guys, right? So-called wise guys, right? He said, now that we're taking down communism, remember the Soviet Union is supposed to be communism, now the next thing is to take down Islam. That's what he said. Now, some of you, if you're good research people, up in Livingston, New Jersey, that's where his archives are. See, now I used to have that tape by laws. They used to be nice. They had the VCR type of thing, right? So they have it up there. You can call them. But it's hard to get it because they won't let you in there because they start asking a lot of questions because you want that particular tape. See, that particular, he's saying that because they hide that now. But that's what archives in Lexington, New Jersey. And you up in New Jersey, you near there, go over there, right? Google it and go over there. Maybe you can get the tape. See? So that's what they said. Okay. So then that's when, right, remember, this is 1990. Next thing you know, this thing with Simon said, he got weapons mass construction. That's the process started. Start with him. See? Because the whole idea is take down Islam. So it started with him. See? So I'm going to show you some connections here. See? And let me say this. Sunniism is the face of Islam today. Islam is mathematics Islam. Sunniism is not Islam in the way I understand Islam. It's not Islam the way Elijah Muhammad taught it. Islam is mathematics Islam, and there's no mathematics in Sunniism. And the prophet said that he would know them and they would know him. He says 90% is Ummah, maybe 90% of people that claim to follow him. He said in end times, he said, they would all be hell-bound. I mean, that's what he said. It's in the hadith. So, and they don't deny it. But they said, I ain't the one, it's them, right? Well, he said 90%, 80%, 89%, I forget exact amount. Right? But Sunniism is the face of Islam today. Right? Because they're the majority, not Shia, they're the majority. Okay. So that's what they're looking at, to take down that. Because they're the ones who control the holy sites, Mecca and everything else, right? The Arabs. So here's the plan. So you got a target on Islam. Now we're going to see if we can make sense. Because it's a conspiracy theory. Let's see if we make some sense of it. Okay, let me make an adjustment here so I get myself out of the way. Let me do it this way. Target Islam. Now, you got to understand, what keeps Islam is not powered by the Quran. Sunni is not powered by the Quran nowadays. It's not powered by prayer beads. It's not powered by a carpet, flying carpet. It's not powered by any of that, right? It's powered by oil. Because that's the only product that they have, and that's getting rich off oil. That's the only product they have. There's one product, right? All Arab nations, right? Except the only ones, everyone that tried to industrialize have what do you call it? uh, diversify, like Iraq and Libya. We're going to talk about them, right? They make sure they don't. So all of them, they all rely on oil. If they didn't have no oil, they wouldn't have nothing. They all rely on oil. So they can pray all this they want to. Is oil that's helping them up. You got to understand that oil is what's propping them up. Oil is what's giving them their power, their prestige. Okay? Okay, think about that. Okay, now we just let's look at some things. Okay, now Venezuela is, okay, in the world, you got a few places that are high oil producers. Venezuela in this hemisphere is one, America is the other one in this hemisphere, right? Then you got Libya, right? Then you got Syria. Then you got Arabia. Then you got Iran. I think it's all of them. And then you got Russia. Those are major oil producers. Everybody depends on them, right? Because the world economy has to run off oil, right? So I think I name all of them. Okay, so now we're going to see a pattern here. In Venezuela, right, they're sanctioning Venezuela so they can't produce any oil, they can't sell oil anywhere. America's doing that. And let me take a little segue here. See, you need to stop the bullshit. They're telling you about this 666 guy in chapter 13. See, all this stuff is very simple, but they confuse it for you. What was the power? It was three of them together. I'm not going to all three, it was three together. But one had the power to take care of another one. So in other words, we're talking about America, false Israel, and Britain. Those are three, right? So one gave support, life, and everything to false Israel. That's America. Because it wouldn't survive wasn't for America. So I'm just cutting to the chase here, brothers. I have a presentation explaining the whole thing, but I'm just cutting to the chase. I'm not going to, because we'd be a while doing that. But the one that had this power, what was this power? See, forget about this tattoos. That's a bunch of crap. What was his power? His power was you could not buy or sell anything if you didn't go along with them, or you mess with that one in the middle, the second one, that was taken care of, false Israel. If that's the case, now they would stop buying and selling, they would actually kill you. Now, isn't that exactly what's happened? Who is the only country on the planet that's doing that? That stop people from buying and selling if they don't do what they want to do, and will go out and invade you and attack you if you mess with false Israel. Let's be real, brothers. Just stop the bullshit. But they go, oh man, see, they diverting you. Man, it's going to be a computer image. He's going to put a tattoo on you and all this crap. No, that's America is the one, the Antichrist they're talking about there. And it's not even the Antichrist. They put Antichrist. They don't say anything about Antichrist in that verse. America is the one. And false Israel. And they stop anybody that buying or selling that don't go along with them or mess with false Israel. Then they attack you and kill you. Okay, who got that out of the way? But anyway, Venezuela. All of a sudden they found something wrong with Venezuela. Remember, this is one of the top oil producers in the world. Sanction them so they can't produce, they stop their sales. Okay, that's one. Then Libya, all of a sudden, they had a problem with Libya. So now they just stabilized Libya, now no oil exports from there either. That's two down. See, no oil exports from Venezuela, from Libya. They found a problem with Libya. Remember, these are hot spots in the world, right? See, they ain't messing with Colombia, Mexico. Why they mess with these people? Then Iraq, they invaded Iraq. Now they control Iraq's exports. Three down. Who's doing this? America. Who's doing? America's behind all this. This coincidence? Okay, let's go on. See. Right now they got this thing going with this whole bullshit over here about this thing with Ukraine. Now they're trying to frustrate Russia's oil sales. See? They're frustrating and they want to stop it. See? Keep going. Russia's behind, America's behind all this, right? And then Sanction Iran, so they can't. All exports too. Prohibit their all exports. Sanction them. Who's the America again? Man, tell me it's conspiracy theory. Tell me you can't Google and find this for yourself. Everything I say you can prove for yourself. And then, you know what's going on in Syria right now? Check it. They're actually taking the oil. They got Americans in there that's taking control of Syria's oil wells, and they're actually taking oil. It's like Trump said, just take it. They're actually taking it. And they're in Syria. These American troops. They're taking control of Syria's oil wells in their country, and they're actually taking it all. They ain't stopping it, they're just taking it. Who is doing this again? America. And then, on top of that, now, they shut down all America's oil import and oil production. Shut it all down. Why? They say, oh, because of global warming. Wait a minute. They produce it in Arabia, right? So, I mean, isn't that part of the globe too? Isn't that part of the planet? We're going to see that in a minute. So they shut down all Americans. So only one left now is who? Who's the only one left that's producing oil now that can sell it? Saudi Arabia. That's the only one. Now, why is that? And what does Biden tell them? They want to produce more, pump more oil. That's one of the reasons why oil prices are so high. Because everybody was shut down and only got it from there. And they said pump. But now remember, oil, remember I said oil comes from decayed matter, so over millions and millions of years. So once you're gone, it's gone. It's going to take millions of years to produce it back up again. And now they know Saudi Arabia's been producing what, over 50 years. They said it almost run out. They got maybe 20, 30, 10, 20 years, maybe supply left. That's if they produce at normal rates. Think about that. At normal rates. But now they tell them to double, triple, quadruple your production. That means, say for instance, if they had 12 years left, right? That means they quadruple. I think that would put down to be only had 3 years left. Because they drew this up faster. Why? Pump more, pump. Why would you pump your own? Remember, Trump was doing. That's why they got rid of him, because he had to. He didn't get the memo. He said we're going to be self-sufficient. They got rid of him, so now they closed down all the oil production in America. Only one is producing is Arabia. I'm just going to cut to the chase on this one. I'm not. It's a lot of stuff that goes with this. I'm not going to it because we spent quite a bit of time already. See. That means they're going to cause them to use up mess faster. So who knows? Maybe they run out in a year. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how much they have left. But they're going to make them exhaust their supply. Remember, and now that's the only source of income they have is oil. Now let me do a little segue here. Iran was a democracy in the 50s. Okay. But the British Petroleum, right? You heard that, BP? They was in Iran and they would develop their oil. And they was actually taking oil. And the Iranians said, heck with that. They nationalized oil and kicked them out. They got mad, went to America. America got the CIA. They destabilized the country, got rid of the Democratic president, and put the Shah on the throne, which was a tyrant, a dictator. They say hate so much. So he ran things for about 20, 30 years, whatever. He was giving all the oil to America at cheap prices, right? And remember, over in the Middle East, they don't believe in use or bank stuff. So he was putting the money back over here in America. So America had the oil and the money. So when he got disposed in 1979, right, then he tried to come over here and get the money because they had like maybe $1 trillion over here that they had Iran's money, right? So they wouldn't let him in the country. Carter wouldn't let him in the country. So he actually going to Egypt and Sadat, right, let him come in there, and he died over there because he had cancer or something. So then they took and said, well, y'all took our hostage and everything else. So they froze so all the money that they had paid Iran, right, it was still in America. So America refused to give them money back. So now they had oil. So that means effectively they pay nothing, zero for that oil they've been getting for all those years because they had the money and the oil. So they tell you, they make this deal and they give Iran $10 billion. They give them back their own money. They don't tell you that part. They give them back their own money. And they had maybe $1 trillion over here in the bank, right? So that's why Iran hates America, because you took all our oil and you didn't give us a dime for it, and now you're freezing and all this stuff. See, that's part of the reason. They ain't going to tell you that part, because America's so good. They're so pretty. They're so, all this stuff. It's bullshit. That's why. How would you feel? That's part of the reason. So I keep that in mind. Another thing I want to tell you is that all these people over in the Middle East and everything that's supposed to be so-called terrorists, Bin Laden, all these people was highly educated people, and Bin Laden he was wealthy, he was a millionaire. These were highly educated people. Highly educated people. These weren't bums, homeless, stuff, that just couldn't find nothing to do, so they figured I'm gonna be a terrorist. These were highly educated people. See, but the point is that they was trying to stop what I'm trying to show you right now. They're trying to stop this, and so they say they're terrorists. They're trying to stop what I'm going to show you right now. See, because the only thing is that they knew what was they saw what happened in Iran, and they understood what's going on here, because they trying to exhaust Arabia of all their oil, because that's the power that fuels Sunni Islam. See. So that's what Biden said. Expand your oil production. Expand more oil. Produce more oil. See? Why don't you use your own oil? They don't shut down every other source. They found a reason for all these countries. Remember, where's all these countries all the countries they after, right? All oil producers. Is that a coincidence? See? They ain't after Mexico. They ain't after Panama. They ain't after Uganda, after all major oil producing countries, and they got them effectively shut down. See, and now they're trying to shut down Russia or some bullshit Ukraine stuff that they ain't telling you nowhere near truth about that one. And then so exhaust Saudi Arabia's oil wells. That's the point. That's what they're trying to get to. Remember, to destroy Islam. Once they exhaust it, what happens? There's no income. And they're going to freeze the income, money, so those people won't have the money, won't have access to it. So all they got is sand left. Who's buying sand? You going to buy some sand? They don't have no, remember, any country that tried to industrialize, they went out in Iraq and they destroyed their infrastructure. They did the same thing in Libya. Libya was like a crown jewel in Africa. There's a whole another story about that. Gaddafi was so bad. The people in Africa loved Gaddafi because he was helping African countries. See? Another thing is, so many things. Another thing is, he said he didn't want the American dollar no more. So he knew what happened in Iran. He didn't want the American dollar. He said he wanted gold. And see, that's it. See, because if he had gold, that means they couldn't pull that game trick on him, where after oil runs out, right, that they freeze the dollars. So he wanted to go. So that's another reason he had to go. And Saddam Hussein did the same thing. He said, I don't want your dollars anymore. I'm going to go with euros. That's another reason. Because that means they would have to really pay for that oil. See, if he could go, that means they'd have to actually pay for the oil, because the whole idea was when oil runs out, they weren't going to pay you a dime. So on paper, they was in debt, but in reality, they wasn't, because they knew they wasn't going to pay you anything. Who was going to stop them? So exhaust all Saudi Arabia's oil wells. Then what? Then they're on their knees, on all fours, not praying either. See, because they have nothing. They're broke, have no resource, no money, no food. They don't grow their own food, right? They don't produce anything. They don't produce their own weapons, anything. See, all they had was lit off that oil. Now that oil is gone, and then they're on their knees begging for help. And then here comes America. Remember, America behind all this. Well, hey, you want to help, man, you're going to have to change your ways, man. You have to drop that Sunnism stuff. Or you might call it Sunnism, but you have to get rid of all these ideas that are behind it. See? Because they're going to say they relate to terror. They're terror-causing ideas. See? You're going to dismantle. No more pilgrimage and all that kind of stuff. Because it could be pilgrimage anyway, because nobody could afford to. They can't afford to have a pilgrimage. They have no money. What you going to eat? You going to eat sand when you get there? See? They don't have any water either. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's the plan. Burn down all the sacred symbols of Islam. Convert Saudi Arabia into a barren desert. See, they're pumping, but there's no oil, there's nothing left. They digging. They can't find anything. They have nothing but sand. They're starving. They're on their knees. They're total under thumb, under foot of America. That's the plan. Because we're not, oh, that's exactly what happened. Tell me something different. Tell me something different. All you scholars out there, tell me anything different that they run. Oh, it'd be something different on that. Unless you're gonna say some secret mystery God will come out and save them. That's the plan. It ain't gonna happen that way. See, because this whole thing gonna be interrupted. But that's the plan. There you go. See? Promote the Christians, get them health, get them money, right? So, and they take over. They take over Arabia, the Christians in there. They move the Christians in and start supporting them. How can the other ones resist them? They don't have no guns or anything. They can't afford it. The only guns they can get there. They have to buy them. They don't have no money for it. And once they got it, they run out. So then they support, just like they did as far as Israel, right? They started throw money in there. After a while, it was a group of them, but they overcome all the Palestinians. Now they got control of it. Same thing they would do there. So now they Christianize Arabia. And there it is. That's the goal of the Christians and the Jews. American false Israel. Now you think that's bullshit? Tell me, explain another way. Why is all the countries all the conflicts is all producing countries, and why they all shut down except Saudi Arabia? And they tell us, sorry, pump more. Why America? Why don't you pump yours? Okay, bro, sister. I'm just playing. I just look. Everything I say, you can Google and check out. Tell me something different. Send me something. Tell me if this conspiracy theory doesn't make any sense. Tell me. I'd like to see what your idea of this is. See, make something else out of it. I think that's it, brothers and sisters. That's it, brothers and sisters. We talked a long time. I think I'm going to call it quits right there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Let me see. Let me check on my audience. Okay, brothers and sisters of the, let's see if I got any message here first. Hold on, brothers and sisters, let me check something. Okay, brothers and sisters, no comments, so thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. And for you, brothers and sisters, thank you for listening. Hope you understand. Assalamu alaikum.